Good morning, SKN. I'm Jamie Morris.
And I'm Cortensia Carty.
It is a new week. It's Monday, as we know, and obviously I think people have to get over the hump of the weekend.
Indeed.
You know, you're on that high, you're coming back to the low, but hopefully we'll help you stay elevated as you continue to watch us. So we want to thank you for starting not only your morning, but your week with us right here on Good Morning SKN. All right, we begin right now with the latest in local news. This from SKNIS. An atmosphere of joy, gratitude, and renewed commitment to serving others and excelling personally permeated the St. Kitts Marriott Resort Ballroom on Wednesday, November 30th, during the special sitting of the Federal Parliament to recognize the 25 most remarkable teens. The teens themselves were beaming with pride as they received accolades and their respective awards from various members of Parliament. Reflecting on that proud moment, 17-year-old Kaliel Ward said that his selection as a member of the 2022 class was truly humbling. The scholar athlete said that this recognition was not entirely surprising given his success on and off the basketball court, but he pledges to continue representing the Federation proudly. Malachi Tucker Gums, who was awarded in the category of Performing Arts, was completely ecstatic to receive the prestigious award. The 16-year-old expressed, quote, "I feel so overwhelmed. Words can't express what this means to me. I have to thank God, I have to thank my church and friends and family. I'm grateful for this," end quote. Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Youth Empowerment said that he was amazed at how life-changing the program has been since it began in 2011. It's hard to believe that it's 11 years ago that began.
Just so.
25 remarkable teens, you can do the math and you can realize how many of them have actually been awarded for doing great things. So it's a great initiative, and congratulations again to all of the awardees. May you do good things with your awards.
We continue now. This from SKN Vibes. Sugar Mass 51 was officially declared open on Friday, December the 2nd, 2022. The St. Kitts Nevis Carnival Committee and the Ministry of Creative Economy came together to present a spectacular opening ceremony which captured the hearts of nationals who have been waiting for a full format carnival since 2019. In a production dubbed Sugar Mass Wonderland, both groups expressed satisfaction with the preparation and the execution. The opening activities kicked off with a parade from the National Museum to Carnival Village at 5 p.m. They included a cross-section of our folklore, past winners, mass bands, and music. Once the parade arrived at Carnival Village, Sugar Mass Wonderland started with top entertainment, theatrical performances, pageant contestants, competitors of panorama, folklore, soca, and calypso monarch, music legends, junior, and grand parade troops. The presentation of Sugar Mass Wonderland saw performers like Conrays, Grandmasters, Izai, Tebulous, Children's Dance Theatre, Synergy Dance Movement, Advanced Dance Academy, Shaki, EBJ Harmonics, and much more displayed their creativity to declare Sugar Mass 51 open. Sugar Mass will be celebrated from now until Tuesday, January the 3rd, 2023, under the theme Celebrate as One for Sugar Mass of 51. I should have said from December 2nd until January 3rd. But Jamie, it was a spectacular opening. I wish you had seen it.
Well, I have a whole month to see all the festivities, as do you, so stay tuned. Sugar Mass 51 is here officially underway. Moving on from SKNIS, the Advanced Vocational Education Center, AVEC, held its graduation ceremony for the class of 2022. Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Education, the Honorable Dr. Jeffrey Hanley, congratulated the new graduates and spoke to some of the government's plans for the institution. Minister Dr. Hanley said, "Graduates, I say congratulations. You've done it. You were here this evening. Your family, friends, and AVEC faculty are all here to celebrate your major accomplishments." AVEC, in the realization of its motto, "Develop a skill, begin a career," has played an important role in assisting you, the graduates, to achieve your goals. For many of you, this day marks the start of a career. For others, it marks the attainment of skills which will improve job growth, end quote. AVEC continues to provide skills training programs to students across the Federation in an effort to advance TVET, technical and vocational education and training. Dr. Hanley further impressed upon the graduates that the modern job market has become increasingly competitive and that they will have to continue their pursuit of academic development over the long term. So this is great indeed. I even think that he went on to say that there are plans to introduce skills in the primary schools.
Oh, that's good, because it needs to start somewhere, and I think it should start from there.
Definitely so.
Indeed, and now we will start with the weather. It is mostly sunny with a high of 83 and a low 75 degrees Fahrenheit. It's currently 76 degrees Fahrenheit. Take a look at your hourly and weekly weather and stay tuned. We have regional and international news up next.
Cheers.
An exotic experience.
What will it take to grab the attention of someone with the power to make your dream come true? 7 hopeful entrepreneurs in search of the finances necessary to take their ideas to the next level.
This is their lives, right? This is their business.
4 savvy business owners ready to make a pragmatic investment.
You can't help people if you can't help yourself. First you make the dollar and you give the dollar.
Why you take your business offline?
I really feel that you need to do a little bit more research.
Very knowledgeable. Super knowledgeable.
You have a great idea and a great concept. I think you'd be snapped up by Disney.
If you have a job someplace, it means that if something is not working, you can walk away.
Who will invest?
Let's do this. Let's do this.
Thank you. And who will be sent home with nothing? I am your host, Kevin Hope.
Back to Good Morning SKN. We now continue with the latest in regional news. This from Caribbean News Now. Cancer patients in the Eastern Caribbean no longer have to travel abroad to have themselves treated. At the launch event of Melissa Popone-Skerritt for Roseau Central Constituency, Dominica's Prime Minister Roosevelt Skerritt emphasized that the Dominica-China Friendship Hospital can now offer cancer treatments that used to be inaccessible in the small island nation. According to the Associated Times, Skerritt said that the hospital is the best in the Organization of Eastern Caribbean States, or ECS. Officially opened in 2019, the Dominica-China Friendship Hospital acquired its HIFU machine early this year. The HIFU is a cancer treatment that uses high-frequency sound waves. In a previous interview, Chinese ambassador to Dominica, Lin Jianjiang, said the acquisition of the HIFU machine along with an MRI scanner will greatly enhance Dominica's dominant position in the Caribbean healthcare sector. End quote. Skerritt mentioned that a patient who sought treatment in the United States came back to Dominica only to find out that the same procedure was being offered on the island. The Dominica-China Friendship Hospital is one of the many healthcare institutions on the island that aligns with the government's desire to build back better for its people. A nice structure, I must say.
This is definitely great that
Yes.
you take away that component of having to travel for cancer
Exactly.
treatment to provide that service to your locals. And I
Yeah.
imagine some other people as well. So that's
And the
great.
OECS, as he said, so that's good. Just next door.
All right. Moving on to the international scene, this from the Good News Network. A tortoise, which is the world's oldest living land animal, is celebrating its 190th birthday. Jonathan was born nearly 2 centuries ago in the early 1800s, making him the oldest tortoise ever recorded and the oldest living land animal. For 140 years, he has resided on the remote island of St. Helena, situated in the midst of the South Atlantic Ocean, a 6-hour flight west from Johannesburg, South Africa. Shell measures taken upon his arrival to the island show that he was at least 50 years old at the time, and it is likely that he is even older. Joe Hollins cared for the giant turtle during his decades at St. Helena's resident veterinarian and still does so now during his retirement. He said, quote, "I do think he's fabulous, actually. He's a great animal, and as a vet, what greater privilege is there than to be looking after the oldest known living land animal in the world? I mean, how often does that happen, to be able to care for this magnificent animal?" End quote. As a much-loved member of his island community and the most permanent resident, locals have thrown the lucky tortoise a 3-day birthday party where he can feast on all of his favorite veggies throughout. End quote. This is a fantabulous story.
A big one, too.
190-year-old tortoise that's celebrated by his community. This is great.
Yeah. He's even on a 60p stamp. He has the same partner since 1991. Yes, I find out all of that. He is a Seychelles giant tortoise. His species reaches maturity at 50. Yeah. And he was 5 when Queen Victoria was on the throne. Yes, I stalked Jonathan.
Okay, you've got your tortoise facts in order. Do you have any facts for us about today's show?
Well, today we have fun vibes.
Okay, so we're, we're also going to be speaking with Councillor Colleen James
Oh,
from
nice.
Canada.
And connections, yes.
And Mr. Mention should be here as well.
So we're carnivaling it up in here. We have begun to celebrate as well. Yes.
And a whole lot more. A whole lot more. All right, stay tuned, guys. We'll be back in a minute with more Good Morning SKN.
It's carnival time in St. Kitts and Nevis. And we know you're going to be at the fete and parade, walking up a storm and getting bad. And of course, some of you may want to drink. But how much is too much? Think about it. You drink and then drive. And guess what? Bam! Accident. You might mash up your car and yourself or hit somebody. So hand over the keys when you know you can't even stand up. Plus, you can't think when you wake up to this.
I'm too sexy for you anyway.
Or 9 months later, you got a big baby you can't even support. You know drinking too much can mash up your liver, right? Then you're up JNF dying of alcohol poisoning. Get the picture? Good. Enjoy yourself, you hear? But drink responsibly. This message was brought to you by the National Council on Drug Abuse Prevention.
I eat some veggies for dinner. Let me just check the amount of sodium in this can. Oh no, this is too much. Let me try our next option. They did say it's healthy to consume less salt. This is much better. I am salt smart.
As a hypertensive patient, in my home, I reduce salt intake by not adding salt during the preparation of my food, not having a salt shaker on my table, limiting the consumption of salty snacks, and choosing products with low sodium content. That's why I am salt smart.
Children, how can you tell a tsunami coming?
Teacher me.
Sammy?
My mother said, when uncle jump in the pool and the water spoosh out, that's how you tell a tsunami coming.
Settle down, children, settle down. Do you remember our tsunami song?
Yes!
Mommy, Uncle not here in the other shake.
Hush your mouth.
Daddy, Uncle not here and the sea gone.
Who cares? You don't see all them free fish? Quick, give me the bag.
This is how you tell a tsunami a come. Teacher says so. I would have failed in school, you know.
Sammy, come, let me go. They would have failed anyhow. They will run, see, Sammy?
When growing your savings, where you save matters more than you think. Dare to compare and see for yourself why you should start saving and investing at First Federal Credit Union. You don't have to settle for cents. Let your money make sense. Reap a higher return by stashing your cash in a high-yield savings account or term deposit and earn up to 4% interest on your money. At First Federal, we say yes.
Dreamy Decor specializes in flowers for all events, from birthdays to weddings and any other special occasion. What's a better way to express to the people you love than by providing the finest selection of beautiful flowers and gifts? So when you think of flowers, think of us, Dreamy Decor.
To a Good Morning SKN. It is time for us to loosen up. Wow. No support. A few weeks ago, we had the pleasure of speaking with the founder and two students of the Key Babies Child Development Center, which sparked the question, why are children so adorable? For many people, their curiosity is what stands out the most. I mean, think about it. They're figuring out this world for the first time, so of course they are bound to have millions, a million and one questions, I should say, and even make some funny remarks from time to time. They really do. So as we loosen up, Jamie and I will discuss some of these questions and remarks made by children worldwide. Jamie, do you remember any remarks you made as a child?
Yeah, I still make them as an adult, so there you go. I'm still as precocious as I was.
Alrighty.
And if you know me, you know that comes with the territory, so.
I figure.
How about you?
I would say now as an adult, I'm more ornery than I was as a child, because as a child, my mom never played, so I never played either, so yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So mom had you under heavy manners.
Heavy manners, like, you know, the anvil that falls down on the coyote that he sets up for the roadrunners. That's how heavy the manners were.
Oh, I see. Okay. Well, we're going to find out what the children had to say.
Indeed.
And see if, well, I said any of these things. Clearly, you didn't. All right. So this is a really good one, and this one is something that they ask. Why can't I see my eyes? That's a valid question for children to ask.
You know what my rebuttal would be?
What?
Go in the mirror and look.
Yeah, but then you'd have to know that. I mean, you can see everything around you. You can't see your face. You can't see other
Yeah, you could see your face because I can look down and see my...
Yeah, if you have a reflective surface. So this is a really good one. Yeah. This is not so bad on the scale of 1 to 10. This is probably maybe 4 or 5, I'd give it.
But then they might ask, so why can I only see my eyes in the mirror? Why can't I see my... Because, you know, they just ask these extra questions because I have a niece and nephew. And, well, my nephew's more inquisitive. He's 4. And he asks a bunch of questions and then he has follow-ups. And then, oh, my God. Like the other day we went to the walk. How come I can't walk on the grass? I said, but you remember what the lady said? Oh, yeah. But then look I'm wearing green and the grass is green, and I'm like, but you cannot walk on the grass because of that. But look, she's walking on the grass and she's wearing the same green shirt as me. I said, because she's not following the rules. Oh yeah, she's not following the rules. So is the police gonna lock her up? And like, he wouldn't stop.
Ah, okay.
He wouldn't stop.
So you think that this one is going to lead to our questions? We'll see.
Oh my gosh. I heard in my house today that why do old people always look so creepy? Is it because they are decaying?
Okay, this one is really good, actually. This is an 8 on 10. I'll give this one an 8.
They're decaying.
Because they're old, right? So decay starts before death. That's his interpretation of it. When you get old and wrinkles start to show up and the skin starts to sag and the hair starts to turn gray, clearly there is an aging process going on, and he thinks that it's gone to the point of decay.
You will decay soon too.
Well, obviously we all will. But this is really good.
Oh my gosh.
On 10 for me.
Okay, so almost all of them would have gone at an 8 on 10 for you.
No, the first one was
just
a 4 or
shocked.
5.
A 4 or 5? Okay, because the eyes on the face.
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough. I just couldn't. I would have never put the king.
But they look so creepy according to him, right? I mean, there's some children that don't like old people. When they're younger anyway, they just think old people are strange. So.
This is why I said if I ever procreate, I'm teaching this kid everything. Your look, that's the eventuality right there. Show them an elder.
Well, with all the software that we have, we can actually age ourselves before we're
I know,
aged.
but no, I want to show them a real elder. How the elder looks.
It depends. Some people are taking better care of themselves anyway. So honestly, you can be older, but not look as if you're decaying. I'll leave it there.
I was trying not to say anything on this because I know I gotta get old. Because I don't know. This child stumped me. I'm lost for words.
My little brother was in kindergarten and he'd never seen his teacher outside of school before. We bumped into her in the grocery store one evening and he yelled to me, "Who let her out?" I love that because as far as he knows,
So he
she's
thinks she
supposed
should
to be in school.
In school?
And it goes back to what I said about school before, is it's a prison, literally. I love the concept. It's the way that they merge, right? It's like, who let her out? Hey, you're supposed to be there, not here.
Have you ever saw the Helen show with the little guys?
No.
This little guy, he said, and I go to preschool, and I think I go for like some amount of hours, and I think it's prison.
It's a prison. Listen.
He's just a case.
You have to serve a certain amount of time.
my
You have to be
God.
in there until you're like 16 years old. So from birth basically to 16.
In preschool until you're 16? Or in school?
School in general.
Oh, so
School
you're in
generally.
prison?
And literally, it's like you can't get
man.
out before a certain time.
No.
As a matter of fact, you can't even leave your classroom without permission. You can't walk on the block. Literally speaking, you're kind of in a particular zone or cell.
If you don't look at it, we're technically in a concentration camp from 8:30 until 3:30.
Okay, I'm not over that far.
As you say, we cannot walk on the corridors unless it's break time or you've been given permission to go to the loo. So, yeah.
All right, and here's another one.
My 3-year-old daughter asked me if I could grow sausages in the veggie garden.
There's so much wrong with this. It's kind of hard to unpack it in one go.
You just tell her no.
Sausages and veggies. Interesting.
Tell her no, that's from the meat family and we don't grow meat.
You kind of grow them in the pot though, right? When you apply heat. That's
They do expand. They do expand in the pot.
Honestly, this is a weird one. I'm sorry. This is like a 9 for me.
But maybe, in this case, to bring it to reality, I would allow my 3-year-old to plant it and watch it be eaten by the worms so they can definitely know that it cannot be planted.
Okay.
See, I want the actual life lesson. And no, I want them to get the actual life lesson. That's why I said I'll even take them out and show them the elder, then age in the elder on the computer. And this way I will show them that sausages cannot be planted because look, they're being eaten by the maggots in the ground.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so they'll have the actual life lesson, so they'll know for sure. Like, because then a follow-up question might be, you sure it can be planted?
Okay.
Yeah.
If you want to do that, I'll just answer. And then I'll eat the sausage.
You'll eat the sausage.
All right. So my 4-year-old asked why we are the only people who live in our house. This is so funny. So I'll go over that again. My 4-year-old don't ask me. Why are we the only people who live in our house? And now I'm nervous. I'm in a horror movie. Because you're imagining that other people live in your house. And if you have a big house, you could probably figure there might be secret passageways and other things. Not like the stories that I've heard here of people having multiple houses and, going to check on one, finding somebody living in a certain part of it. That's a whole other story.
Wow.
It doesn't have to be a horror movie. It could just be one of those opportunities for crime.
But maybe the people are just taking care of it. They figure they have plenty and they don't have anywhere to live, so they're just gonna hold it for them until the time.
Forget breaking and entering. We'll call it breaking, entering, and not leaving. That's what we'll
Squatting.
Moving in.
Squatting.
Oh man.
Mm-hmm. Wow. Huh. Why are you buying beer, Dad? Do you know how much candy we could get with that money? That's true. But then the candy nor the beer is good because they're both sweet and you are sweet enough.
So how's the dad supposed to answer that? Because it's my money and I worked for it. When you have your own, you buy what you want.
Oh my God.
That would probably be a typical answer.
This is a rough dad. This is a rough dad. I was a dad, I would have felt bad and I would have instantly turned around and said, okay, so I'm not getting a beer. You're not getting candy. We're going to save this money and buy something healthier.
No, I'm sorry. The dad obviously is buying the beer because he wants the beer. And
Yeah, but
perhaps
then-
he's had a very long day answering a lot of questions already, so he needed to relax.
But it's not good to have a beer around your kids because then you're telling them a beer is okay.
Really?
Yeah.
And what happened to life lessons? Life lesson is just because you see it happening around you doesn't mean that it's appropriate for you.
Yeah, but then that's one, but then just don't buy it. Just show the kid that he's not getting candy, you're not getting beer, and all will be well.
That's what you think.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't think that way.
No,
but that's what
man.
you think. Fair enough. All right, so what is the name of the space between the bits that stick out on a comb? Okay, this is a good one. What is that? What is that really? That's a very good question. That's a 10 out of 10 for me.
Yeah. What?
That's a valid question. What is the name of the space between the bits that stick out on a comb? That's a 10 out of 10. Perfect question. Brilliant question.
So can you tell me? I'm the kid.
Well, I'm waiting for the answer. So not part of the comb, obviously.
But it's part of the comb.
How is it part of the comb, Hortensia? It's space.
Because he's asking about, obviously he can see it, so it's part of the comb.
Really?
Mm.
Yeah.
It is space. I get your point, but the fact that he can see it, it's part of the comb.
Hortensia, you're entertaining this.
Yes, it's part of the, I always like to debate something, but it's part of the comb, yo. But as you said, it's space. It is space, but it's part of the comb. The space is part of the teeth in the comb.
Yeah, so what's that space between the prongs on a fork? What's
space.
it called?
Space.
So you can see that.
That's space,
so
yeah.
it's part of the fork.
Yeah, it's part of the fork. The
Yeah,
space
right,
is-
Hortensia.
Okay, the
Come
space is part. The space is
Hortensia,
part
don't
of the
try.
prongs.
Hortensia, don't try.
The space is the part in between that separates the prongs of the fork. Got it?
Not part of the fork or not part of the comb. How about that?
It is. Oh gosh. Okay, I give up. I give up. When looking at a baby, do they know that they're alive yet? Oh my God.
Do you want to ask them? That might be a great answer. If they answer you, then they might know one way or the other, right? Are you kidding?
These children are mess.
This question reminds me of that lady that I told you about on the plane with her husband. We were on our way to JFK in the morning. It was literally like, we got there like half an hour early or something. He's like, honey, the pilot's really pushing it, She's like, what do you want me to do? Call the air police? I was like, dear God, that's marriage for you, awesome. This right there reminds me of that because it's like, hey, why don't you ask them?
Oh my God. But the man just made a nice remark. What's wrong with her? She was having a bad
What
day.
did she want him to do? What did he want her to do? Call the... I thought, wow, I was literally behind them. I thought, welcome to New York. And I wasn't even there yet. We were literally...
What? The fact, he was just like, probably just making a comment and she took it in the wrong sentiment.
And no, she didn't take it in the wrong sense. You could tell who wore the pants there. In any
Exactly.
event, we're talking about diapers and babies and obviously, yeah.
I don't think the babies are alive, but are they aware of what's going on? Maybe they are. Who knows? We're not in their little minds.
Babies are aware of what's
Yeah.
going on. But what do you mean if they know that they're alive yet? they'll have to have something to compare that with. And the only thing is going to be death. They're not.
And they are not decaying as
do
yet.
that.
They're no coming in like teeth. Yeah.
What?
Jamie, work with me here. The baby are now coming in like new teeth.
Newsflash. I do that every day. Mondays to Fridays,
gosh.
8 to 10, right?
I don't mean that literal. I don't mean the literal part of it. I mean work with a woman here.
Guys, what is that space between Cortez and me right now? Can you see? What is it called? What is it part of? Is it part of the set?
It is part of the set, okay? We can't be too close for this segment, okay? And plus the space is needed for the table and decor.
Oh my gosh, you're continuing this. Guys, I was kidding.
I'm going to continue with it.
I need to preface my words with that. I am kidding, by the way. All right, more GMS scan in a moment. Stay tuned.
Hi. If you are a smoker, please pay attention to this message. According to the World Health Organization, there are 1.3 billion smokers in the world today, and tobacco kills 1 out of every 2 smokers. Did you know that there is enough nicotine in 5 cigarettes to kill an average adult if ingested whole? There are more than 7,000 chemicals in tobacco smoke, of which more than 250 are known to be harmful. More than 69 are known to cause cancer, and 16 are classified as Group 1 carcinogens. Smoking kills. Are you ignoring that warning every time you smoke? Please stop. Smoking can lead to severe health complications and even death. It affects almost every organ in the body, especially the lungs and heart. It raises blood pressure, increases blood clots, and increases the risk of stroke, heart attack, and cancer. It is hard to quit smoking, but it is not impossible. Don't let tobacco destroy you. Remember the 4 Ds to curb your tobacco cravings. 1. Delay. Set a time limit before you decide to smoke. 2. Drink water. Go get a drink before you do anything else. 3. Do something else. Have a goodie bag handy of other things to do. And 4. Deep breathing. Take at least 10 deep breaths every time you think about smoking. Quit smoking and live a longer and happier life. This message is brought to you by the Ministry of Health, St. Kitts and Nevis.
No cash, no card, no problem. Dad, embrace the freedom.
Joining us this morning for SKN Connections, we have the pleasure of speaking with Colleen James, Regional Councillor for the region of Waterloo in Ontario. Welcome to Good Morning SKN.
Welcome.
Colleen.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Our pleasure.
All right, so you've had a career in municipal government at both city and regional levels. And as part of our 16 days of advocacy coverage, we are happy to have you here as an advocate for change in your spaces. So obviously this segment is called SKN Connections, and many people may never have heard of Waterloo, Canada, but we know that you have a local connection to St. Kitts. So I'm going to give you the opportunity to tell everyone about that connection.
St. Kitts is very close to home on my father's side, my paternal side. Frank Sargent, the Sargents, that is my ancestry, and grew up going to St. Kitts, and like I said, my dad originally from there, and his parents. So deep connection to St. Kitts.
And I know that he's watching right now, so hi, Frank.
Hi, Dad.
So this position in government may be unfamiliar to our viewing audience. Exactly what does a councillor do?
So I'm a regional councillor, and here in Ontario, we've got a tiered system of government. So there's your mayor and council level. Then there's another level that deals a lot with managing 7 area municipalities and how the region of Waterloo grows and is planned for the next few years. So a lot of the services that we provide are around transportation, our bus system and our light rail system, water. We do a lot with community services, public health, our policing. So we're really looking at the regional level. It's really much that long-term growth strategy plan for the area, and then other levels up get into the partisan politics. But this is a nonpartisan level. But it's really about connecting to community, dealing a lot with big budgets and big planning for years, for decades ahead.
Right, so you've been on the job now, Colleen, officially for, I would say, less than a month. Is that not correct?
That is correct. Yeah, it won't be a month until about December 15th. So right into it from the minute we got elected, essentially.
I was actually going to ask you how that month has been for you so far, because you're not new to politics at all, obviously, but are there some novelties in this position that you've noticed so far?
Yeah, so what I will say, just to give some context, is I spent a number of years working, supporting mayor, managed an elected official office for multiple years, and then went in the position I'm currently in now. I used to be the research assistant to council. So I was seeing firsthand what they were doing, the decisions that were being made, how they were being made. And I recognized there was a disconnect with communities, especially with racialized and marginalized communities. Often decisions were being made without having that input in terms of, a holistic approach to the community and what community needs are. So, spending that time understanding the system, knowing the system, but also where there can be changes and how we can be better aligned with the needs of communities, especially in this area, a growing Black racialized community. So the past month has been really just, it is like drinking from a fire hose. As much as I know what I know from being on the other side of things, a staff perspective, to now just really kind of understanding the magnitude of the decisions and how complex they are. But it has been good. It really is a good feeling to know that, as much as I may be one voice, it's a voice that really is reflective of a broader base of the community.
That's very good, and congrats again on your appointment. So in addition to being a councillor, you are also a founder of your own business, Divonify. How do you balance being a councillor and an entrepreneur? I want to know.
I'm navigating that balance now. Okay. I do have an equity and inclusion consulting company. So with that provides a little bit more flexibility than typically working, a 9 to 5. I was a professor before in higher education, and that there wouldn't have been any balance there. Now it's really just, there's some autonomy in being able to choose my schedule, but the equity work that I do, and it's still there. I'm still passionate about doing it. It just complements the space that I'm in now as regional counselor and having that equity informed lens. So it is a juggling act, plus a family on top of that. So I think that I'll be trying to navigate this for 4 years. But, I do appreciate that I do have the flexibility to choose my own schedule as well. And the regional counselor role is only a part-time role, which, most people think it's a full-time job, although it pretty much is, but technically it's a part-time role. So that allows for a little bit more time.
All right, so in terms of your business, equity and inclusion consulting, and that's what I heard. So Devonify, I want to know about the name, and I think I can kind of read between the lines, but I want to hear it from you. So Devonify, how did you come up with it? And
I started Devonify about 7 years ago now. And the dynamic in the area that we're in, and I know my father will attest this, there's predominantly white spaces we're in. And I was in a lot of business executive rooms and recognizing that there is a complete lens and conversation that isn't happening in spaces, especially corporate spaces, around what that means for those of us who may be marginalized or underrepresented in groups and in workspaces. So the Devonify, it's a marriage of diverse and unified kind of put together. And I work a lot with organizations to address things like diversity, equity, inclusion, anti-racism, anti-oppression, working through what does it mean for employers to have that lens, have equity embedded throughout organizations. So I do a lot of training, workshops, but also helping with some of the helping with being that bridge between employees and the leadership team on what it means to be committed. I mean, we know 2020 plus happened, and the murder of George Floyd, the amplification of Black Lives Matter, and people, although many of us already knew that there are inequities in the system, people were focused on it and paying attention to it now. So I work a lot with, private sector organizations, public sector organizations, not so much public anymore, may have a conflict there, but, art galleries, just really, the ways in which we can have better policies, better practices, promising practices, and, addressing some of those equity gaps that exist within our organizations.
It's very important work, indeed.
Indeed, it is.
Yeah.
So, Pauline, how do you think your work could assist us here on our island or in our region?
Sorry, can you repeat that?
How do you think that your work can assist us here in St. Kitts and in our Caribbean region?
So, one of the things that I do think is that whole amplification. Often, especially in this area, there's that whole Black people are a monolith. And I think I represent something that, first of all, I represent St. Kitts and proud of St. Kitts. So, helping to amplify that there are more than one island. I will tell you, where I am, it's very polarized to think that many people are from certain islands and they don't even think about St. Kitts and what's happening in St. Kitts. And, to me, it's about just amplifying and empowering and really just showcasing other Caribbean islands, in particular St. Kitts, and just, bridging, creating more bridges as well, because we all are trying to, we have government systems in every place within the world. So how can we build better bridges between?
All right, so in 2020, the Canada International Black Women event named you one of the top 100 Black women to watch. And in 2021, you were named one of the Canadian Multicultural Group's top 25 Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Persons of the Year. Congratulations, first of all. It's great that you made the list. What do these accomplishments mean to you?
It's for so often, I think one thing that stands out is feeling valued in the spaces that you're in, and feeling that sense of belonging. So with the recognition, especially the top 100 Black women to watch in Canada, where I am, it's a smaller community. There's still about 600,000 here, but compared to Toronto and the bigger municipalities, you often kind of get lost in those big municipalities. So for me, that recognition really showed that there's value that valued in the work that I'm doing, but also recognizing some of the work being done in smaller municipalities and smaller communities across Ontario and or across Canada in this case. So that was huge in the work that I was doing for a number of years. And I think we all want to feel that the work we're contributing to is being valued and seen. So it was really important in that aspect. And for being one of the top 25 DEI persons of the year in 2021, I mean, the market became flooded with DEI professionals, anti-racism professionals, and to have that recognition, especially coming from a smaller town, and I can relate this to St. Kitts in a bit, because St. Kitts was always growing up here. Well, that's just a small island, but recognizing that regardless of size of community you're in, you can still have an impact that impacts people all over the country and internationally as well.
Mm-hmm. And you spoke about impact. What impact do you hope to have on the current role that you're in and at the end of your tenure?
Yeah. So, for me, it's about changing systems, changing the way we operate. There are models that are being used and the models don't work. And, to bring in some of my equity work, these models are based on the old colonial structures, white dominated ways of operating. And part of what I hope to do, and as much as I'm one voice, but it's really kind of challenging the way we do things to get better outcomes and better processes and more holistic ways of doing things. So for me, it's really about creating some of that meaningful change, but also being accountable. There's people who, and validly so, do not trust government officials. And what I wanted to do, and part of my running, was to really say we can do this better and we can do this differently, and that's okay. So for me, it's also representation. I will tell you, the region started in 1973. My father left St. Kitts and came to Canada in 1972. So he was here before the region was created. And from 1973 to 2022, there has never been a Black or racialized anybody on this council. So, and the community where I am, it's the 10th largest diverse community. So clearly there's a disconnect, and running and recognizing that we potentially be making history, but also having a greater impact on community is kind of, the driving force. And I have a young daughter. We have, there's generations here in Canada, and they need to see themselves reflected in in key decision making. And if we're not part of the conversation, we're not going to be included in a way that's meaningful.
Definitely
indeed.
so, Colleen. And, to hear you speak about your daughter, I can imagine not only that legacy that you're leaving for her, but other Black girls watching, other minority groups watching who can say, and other women watching even can say, well, you know what, you are an inspiration, so I'm really glad that you're doing this work. What should we be watching for, and what should we be expecting from you in 2023?
Yeah, I think I'm conscious of choosing all my battles at council, but I think what you can look forward to is just different ways of approaching how we connect with community. I'm about engagement and transparency. So you will see me, connecting more with community to be informed with how I make the decisions at regional council table. But also, just again, being a representative too. I was receiving lots of emails after I won from community just saying, like, we're with you. You're not alone at this table. And one of the things with the campaign and even running is that I didn't just win, I was first. There's 4 seats and I was first, and pretty much a landslide win, which people didn't expect at all. So for me, it's just it's that reassurance and reinforcing the need that we can and we should be in all spaces, and it can happen. And for me, it showed that, the community was ready for this change, because there's others, people have tried and just, couldn't break that barrier. And I think, the reality is it's 2022. We should have representation in all spaces, and we didn't, but at least there's a barrier broken. And I think for future generations and people who are engaged in politics, at least they know they won't have to be the first. And I'll try and make sure that door stays open, and that, there's the opportunity consists for people who want to get into politics.
Nice.
Wow, I can't believe that we've come to the end of this interview. Colleen, it has been a fascinating conversation with you.
Has been.
And definitely I can sense your passion in your words.
Yeah.
It's been our pleasure connecting with you this morning, and especially during the 16 days of advocacy. And, we do appreciate the work that you do, and thank you for it. And thank you also for representing St. Kitts. I love the way that you said that you do that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. People say St. Kitts, and I will tell you, I know all about the monkeys in St. Kitts. It's, it is part of my roots. When I'll just say this before I go, I gave my acceptance speech, and I paid homage to my ancestries, that my DNA is running through my blood, and there's a connection to St. Kitts. And, I carry this with me everywhere I go.
Great final words, Colleen. It's been our pleasure again. Congratulations.
Thank you. Have a good day. Thank you again. Bye-bye.
You too.
You
Bye-bye.
too. Bye.
More Good Morning SKN in a moment. Stay tuned.
It's been 6 months now and Glenn hasn't been working. It's been 6 months now and Glenn hasn't been working. His attitude has completely changed, and he's been leaving the house every day for hours and liming with his friends and coming home drunk and causing confusion.
Gloria, this is what you cook today? This is not enough food for a big man like me.
But Glenn, it's been 6 months now. You haven't given me any money to shop for food.
Okay, so what you want me to do if my boss ain't called me out for work as yet?
Look for a different job now.
What you just said to me?
Get a next job.
What?
Help! Let me
Let
go!
go what? Yeah, let's see what we got. Let go what? Watch your mouth with me now.
Every week and mom and dad fight. When are they going to stop?
Domestic violence is not just physical, it's mental, emotional, economical, and psychological. If you, your friend or family member is being abused, you can contact one of the numbers listed below for help. Department of Gender Affairs 662-5492, Special Victims Unit 662-7077, Counseling Unit 465-5000. This message was brought to you by the Department of Gender Affairs in collaboration with the Ministry of Health and the Pan American Health Organization.
You see that new boy that just joined the school last week? He brought me a chocolate this morning because I showed him the way home from school yesterday.
You like him?
No, he's just my friend. Plus, he is my neighbor. He asked me if we can walk home together for lunch tomorrow, and I told him yes.
I don't like these big boys. They tend to like to touch girls without your consent.
What do you mean by consent?
It's when one person agrees to give permission to another person to do something.
He is cute though.
Guys, you won't believe what happened the other day with the new boy from school.
What happened?
The other day, while walking home with the new guy, he followed me into my house. I thought it was okay because he seemed friendly and respectful. So I turned on the TV and offered him a soda. We sat in the chair together. Then he leaned over and kissed me. I was so shocked I sat up straight and asked him why he did that. He said he thought I liked him. I told him not in that way.
What? Girl, you should have never allowed him inside your parents' home.
My parents will be very angry if they meet any boys in our home plus kissing me.
Guys, we don't need to be burdened down with teen pregnancy and relationship problems at this time. Boys need to understand that girls are not sex objects.
Remember, you have the right to consent to every activity being performed, from holding hands to anything more, and to change your mind at any time. If your partner does not respect your wishes, this also is a form of abuse. If you, your friend or family member is being abused, you can contact one of the numbers listed below for help. Department of Gender Affairs 662-5492, Special Victims Unit 662-7077, Counseling Unit 465-5000. This message was brought to you by the Department of Gender Affairs in collaboration with the Ministry of Health and the Pan American Health Organization.
Good morning, SKN. This is Lyrical. I just want to say blessings to you. There are a happy place in the life if you live in there. A happy place in the life if you live in there. Cause them at a happy place in the life. And they can't change. And they just come out here to do right. So whether day or night, they will never ever change. Blessings, blessings, and blessings.
Welcome back to Good Morning SKN. It's carnival season here in St. Kitts and Nevis. Last Friday, the official launch for Sugar Mass, and last Friday was the official launch for Sugar Mass, and it sure got everyone excited. And today we have the pleasure of speaking with Ashley Ellis, owner of Fun Vibes. They are marketed as the premier mass band in the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis. Good morning, Mr. Ellis. Sorry for the mess up, and welcome.
Good morning. It's Christmas and carnival season, so you can mess up.
Okay.
I was going to say she was so excited she lost her words.
Yeah. I know. Having too much fun.
I'm telling you.
So how long has Fun Vibes been in operation?
Fun Vibes has been in operation since 2010.
Oh, 12 years. And congrats.
We've been on the road every year.
Okay.
Except the last 2 years.
For obvious reasons.
Yes. Okay. Good.
So how excited are you to be back out on the streets after those 2 years?
How excited am I? Hey.
Not excitement. We could.
It's really good.
Okay. Good.
It's something I look forward to every year. Carnival, being on the road, watching our revelers enjoying themselves. And at the end of the carnival season, they said to me, "Boy, I had a wonderful time. I enjoyed myself."
You got to correct me if I'm wrong. I for some reason, I'm thinking my facts would indicate that at one point, Sharon Rattan was actually leading out your band.
At one time, she was the queen of the band for like 2 years.
Nice.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
Join me in a bit of a carnival. So can you tell us about the Fun Vibe experience? If I never played Mass, if I decided to play Mass, how would it be for me and newcomer?
Fun Vibe. Definitely, it's Fun Vibes. It's about creating clean fun.
Okay, nice.
For our mass players, it's a time I believe people work hard all year.
Yes.
In fact, people have gone through so many different things, especially in the last 2 years. And now that persons are really looking forward to wearing a nice, sexy, stunning costume, just getting away, just enjoying themselves, and just letting loose. And that's what Carnival does.
Yeah.
Absolutely right.
And so Fun Vibes, we create that atmosphere. We have beautiful costumes, premium bar, food and drinks. This year, we're going to take it up a notch. I think that people have been waiting for that experience. And so we're going to give them a road experience that they have never experienced.
Okay, I like
that. So we have to wait for that road experience, or can you tell us a bit about the road experience?
You have to wait for it.
Oh, Jesus. I was hoping to get a little insight,
I realize that, but what you said and what you did is really catchy, by the way. So I think that you've had experience teaching, speaking about it before.
I'll tell you this much. We're going to have more drinks, variety, food and drinks, so that people could just enjoy themselves.
So we got a little teaser there, guys.
I guess that's not enough for you. I want to go back a little bit to what inspired you to launch the camp. I know that you said that you started in 2010. take us back to those initial stages, not necessarily 2010, but when you got the idea or the inspiration for it.
Okay, yeah. Well, let me start by saying I actually started playing mass around 13 or 14 as a teenager at I was at Convent High School. There are a few of us who started with Janice Reynolds, God bless her soul, you know. That is where I started. And then I moved on and I played mass with Hainesmith Youth Club.
Okay.
And got involved in Cynthia Hall, and then I recognized that Carnival was like dwindling down.
Yes.
At one time there was no troops on the road, there was only the folklore troops and so on. And three of us came together, Christian Walwyn, myself, and Lyndon Berry, who lives overseas now. And we decided to form a mass band.
Okay.
And so we named our band Fun Makers.
Yes, I remember Fun
It was
Makers.
PHUNN
Yeah.
Makers. We were fun-like persons. You see, had the same thing. We like the same things. We went to Carnival, and we created Fun Makers. And then Fun Makers sometimes was the only band on the road. And after playing mass in St. Martin, in New York, in Trinidad, and every place else, you know, I really wanted to bring something back
Okay.
to St. Kitts because I saw the value in Carnival. And so I decided, after a couple of years, I decided to branch out. And I said, okay, guys, I'm going to move out all by myself. And I created Fun Vibes, New Vibes. And we created that alliance.
Okay.
And we have never stopped.
How risky of a move was that in terms of finance?
It wasn't risky.
Okay.
It is, you know, it is always, it's a lot of work.
Okay.
Once you have the support from the sponsors and so on. And we've had some really good sponsors over the years who basically have supported Fun Vibes. And so that was able to help us. And so as time moved on, I was able to look at, you learn more about the industry, more about the product, so it becomes a little more easier. You know,
Nice.
so the only thing we deal with now is the competition. Because you have so many more bands on the road now, and in the past where we were just having fun and enjoying ourselves, we needed bragging right, so we're going for the win.
Okay, good stuff.
That's what I was about to ask you because we started having fun, but then it's like, okay, has it gotten more serious now?
Yes.
To the point where you still want to have fun, but you also want the titles that go along with it.
Yes.
Nice.
Okay, right. I like the branding though, the fun from Fun Makers, Vibes, New Vibes. I mean, that really speaks to the
That's
collaboration.
correct. Yeah. Yes.
Okay. So the theme for Fun Vibes Carnival is Breakout, a new mindset. Tell us about that.
Breakout, new mindset. In our band, we try to, in fact, in Fun Vibes, we become, very creative. Some other bands, regionally here, just takes what somebody give to you.
Yeah.
And so we start from scratch.
Okay.
And so thinking about what we need to do. What are we our theme is going to be for 2022, 2023. And I'm there and I wasn't too sure if so many things came across. And then they said, we have a new mindset. Where we started, in fact, it was personal for me, right? In terms of having a new mindset in the way we have to do things now.
Yes.
And in order to achieve that, you have to break out of your old ways and start to see things differently. And so, so we need to break out. And so that's it. That's it.
Oh, nice.
So it was break out, a new mindset.
Nice.
Does that theme translate into costumes? Does that theme translate into the experience?
Yes. Now, after doing that, you have to look at the sections now. And so you have to find section that correlates with the theme. So buying a new mindset, breakout. So we came up with our sections. One is risk taker. You have to be a risk taker.
Yeah,
So
to
that's
get in your mindset.
It's one of our sections.
Indeed.
You have to be a dreamer.
Yes.
That's another section. You have to be a visionary. You have to be a trendsetter. And you have to be a superstar.
Nice.
So that is what we portray for Carnival 2022-23.
Ooh, I
Breakout,
like it.
a new mindset.
Nice.
All right, well, we're going to be back to talk with you about those sections and a whole lot more in a moment. More GMS Scan in a flash. Stay tuned.
It's carnival time in St. Kitts and Nevis. And we know you're going to be at the fete and parade, walking up a storm and getting bad. And of course, some of you may want to drink. But how much is too much? Think about it. You drink and then drive. And guess what? Bam! Accident. You might mash up your car and yourself or hit somebody. So hand over the keys when you know you can't even stand up. Plus, you can't think when you're drunk. Then you might wake up to this.
I'm too sexy for you, Annie Rat.
Or 9 months later, you got a big baby you can't even support. You know drinking too much can mash up your liver, right? Then you up JNF dying of alcohol poisoning. Get the picture? Good. Enjoy yourself, you hear? But drink responsibly. This message was brought to you by the National Council on Drug Abuse Prevention.
Welcome back to Good Morning SKN as we continue this engaging conversation with Ashley Ellis. So Ashley, you spoke about the various sections in your mass camp, well, your mass troop.
Yes.
Can you expound on them a bit more?
Okay. First section, risk taker, colors are black and gold. And it's about, in order to have a new mindset, in order to break out, in order to see things different, you have to take risks.
Yes.
And so too often that persons, you want to achieve things, but you're afraid to take them.
Yes.
And that's, in a nutshell, that's it.
Yeah.
So you have to take risks. You know, if you're going to go into business,
yes.
you have to decide, look, I'm going to have a good business plan. I'm going to go to the bank. I'm going to plan properly. It may work, it may not work, but
we know that, yeah.
You know, you got to try.
Indeed.
Yeah. To be, to have a new mindset, you have to be a dreamer. You got to be able to dream things and dream big.
Yeah.
See things differently.
As you're talking, I'm getting some visuals on what the costumes actually look like and their prices as well. So risk takers, actually very enticing.
Very enticing. It is. It is. It is. But just to add it quickly, visionary, again, you must be able to have a vision. You must be able to see into the future. You must be able to see where you want to see yourself a few years from now. Trendsetter. Speak sweet self.
Yeah.
Self-expression. You know, you gotta be, you gotta stand up. People gotta see who you are.
Yes, exactly. I want to follow.
And then you become the superstar.
Superstar.
After all of this, yes. Then you walk like a superstar. You dress like a superstar. You feel like a superstar.
What section are you in, kind sir?
Actually, I have that privilege
of being a
where
superstar?
I have a section where it is basically my friends and so on. So we get a room. So we take care of everybody.
Not settling in one section.
So we are breaking out entirely.
Okay, you're definitely breaking
That actually sells. I get it. I get it. Which of these sections do you think has gotten the most feedback so far?
So far? Risk Taker has
I was
been,
just gonna say.
that has been our biggest seller. We had like
Okay.
100 and something people
Oh, nice.
in that section already. Yes, and so, yeah, it is amazing. You know, there are people who still trying to get into that section, even at this last minute.
Wow.
And we have the capability of doing some things.
Okay.
And still being very careful because the route that we have taken, the way we do things, all of our costumes, they're produced in Trinidad and so on.
Oh, nice.
So they have the capabilities of making X amount of costume per day. The only challenge that we have is because of the difficulties in travel and moving still, and the cost.
Yeah,
You know, so that is the only challenge. Outside of that, we're good.
Nice. I like to hear that. So besides the costume, there is so much more included in the Fun Vibe package.
Yes.
Tell us about that.
There's so much more. I'll tell you, the container has already started packing with the drinks.
Yeah, you're early,
And
man.
so we've had listened to our mass players, what they want,
Okay.
rather than giving what we want to give them. For instance, sometimes we have very good sponsors and who want to promote their products. And then sometimes we have to sort of marry both. There are situations where we have to be able to sell or get our mass players to use our sponsors' products. And so we try not to have competing, products on parade day, but at the same time trying to satisfy what our mass players would want.
Yeah.
So it doesn't make sense you bring in a particular rum
Yeah, nobody wants that.
and they don't use it, and they become angry with you. So that is
I like that.
challenge. So that is something that we're gonna do. We're going above, beyond. The container is packed already, ready to go.
Ready to have some fun. Right. So how can persons purchase a package from Fun Vibes?
Our mass camp is located at Port Zante by the food court, just where the pharmacy used to be there, next to Champions Bar.
Okay.
And we open from 10 to 10 to 6 daily, except Sundays. Or you can go online.
Okay.
And so you can pay online. We have all of our information is there.
All right. There's a Facebook page or website that we can go to.
Yes.
Okay, I see.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Chat.
Yes.
Okay. Right there on the poster.
There you go.
All right. No need to remember that.
No need to remember that.
So I want to know who are some of the DJs that will be providing entertainment for Fun Vibes?
DJs. We're going to have DJ Terror. We are going to have Hellfire Sound.
Okay.
Akai Sweet. DJ Seeker. We have New Vibes Band. And we have 2 guest DJs out of Trinidad who are trying to, engage us at this point. We have not confirmed this yet. Yeah, but yeah.
Nice.
It's going to be war on the road.
You heard it there first. War on the road.
It's war on the road.
Yes, indeed.
And I must say, we're having the same sound system that we had in 2019.
Okay.
We had the most powerful system with the New Vibes Band. It's the same system that comes in for Cool Effect.
Okay.
And so we have the privilege of using that contracted the same person. So it's good. It's a party in the streets.
Wow.
Party in the streets.
It's a party in the streets.
Indeed.
Party in the streets with Fun Vibes. Okay, so in addition to that party in the streets that you're selling,
yes.
Final time to tell the viewers why they should participate with Fun Vibes.
Why you should participate in Fun Vibes? One, we have the most beautiful and affordable costume.
I like that.
We have the most beautiful and affordable costume. And made by the best persons in the industry in Trinidad. That's the first thing. We have worked out with our sponsors, First Federal, where you can play where you get 100% financing, no interest, no down payment, and you have 1 year to repay for your costume.
Wow.
So all you have to do, walk into First Federal, say, look, I want to play mass with Fun Vibes. There is, even whether or not you have an account there, they'll make the provision for you. We have negotiated that for our mass players. So you can go, no down payment, no interest, and you have 1 year to repay. You can't beat that.
Yeah, indeed.
Can't beat that at all. Okay.
You can't beat that.
So, two very good reasons to participate in Fun Vibes. And
And the third one, food and drinks.
Galore. Can I say galore?
Galore.
Okay, galore. Okay.
In galore.
In galore.
Yes. Out galore, in galore, over galore. I'm telling you, it's 2 years.
Yes. So you're ready.
We have not been on the road, and so we're going to take it to a different level.
Nice.
Yeah. Plus, there's some of the nice little goodies that we have, and some little excitement. And do things that are different.
Yes.
And we have Fun Vibes. That is what we are about. But we're coming for the crown.
Yeah, okay, coming for the crown.
We're coming for the crown.
Yes.
War.
On that note, Ashley, thank you so much for coming in and letting the revelers know and the potential revelers know what to expect from Fun Vibes. And we wish you a safe and enjoyable carnival.
And thank you guys for having me also.
It
was always a pleasure. Looking forward to see you guys on the road.
Okay.
Yeah?
Indeed.
Safe zone, no war.
Much more after this, so stay tuned.
Yes.
Dreamy Decor specializes in flowers for all events, from birthdays to weddings and any other special occasion. What's a better way to express to the people you love than by providing the finest selection of beautiful flowers and gifts? So when you think of flowers, think of us, Dreamy Decor.
When growing your savings, where you save matters more than you think. Dare to compare and see for yourself why you should start saving and investing at First Federal Credit Union. You don't have to settle for cents. Let your money make sense. Reap a higher return by stashing your cash in a high-yield savings account or term deposit and earn up to 4% interest on your money. At First Federal, we say yes.
Yeah.
An exotic experience.
Art is not defined by lines and structure. It has no boundaries. Art is anything created. These are the words of our next guest, Mrs. Adele Strawn of Inspired Art, an artist in her own right. And we are happy to welcome Adele to Good Morning SKN.
Good morning, and thank you for having me.
Our pleasure.
Our pleasure, Adele. So what prompted you to begin painting?
As the name of my business is called Inspired Art, I was inspired by two major things. One, I hate to be idle. So I'm always busy, I'm always trying to find something to do. And I was also inspired by an artist of the 1950s called Cy Twombly. And that piece of art caught my attention and really drew me to what art is all about. What was that painting? Scribbles. Red scribbles, almost childish, innocent. And I said, if he could do that, I could do anything. So those were my two major issues or things which really inspired me to take on art.
Well, we will continue this inspiration. What is the inspiration behind the name? Because it's not spelled the way we know how to spell Inspired Art. I was shocked this morning until Alani told me the pronunciation of it.
Inspired Art. I wanted to be different. It's all
Certainly
about being different, whether it is with my art being unique, and just speaking to interest, bringing on the interest of someone to say, what is that? Like you said, it's until you really pay attention to it, you realize, oh my goodness, there's a different way of saying something. And so I just wanted to be unique.
All right. Picking up on that, uniqueness. Do you find ways to make your art unique? Is it unique because you created it, or are there other factors that you would think make it unique?
What makes my art unique? It's my whole feel. It's the emotions I'm going through. Whether they're emotions or no emotions, abstract art in and of itself is just expression, your inner coming out. And sometimes it's not necessarily landscapes and portraits, but it could be just an expression of color, your feel, whether you want to be asymmetrical, symmetrical, whether you want to be horizontal, your strokes. And so these are the different things that make it unique, your state of mind at the time. In all honesty, before I start a painting, I get so excited, I get nervous, because at the end of the day, it's not me saying, okay, I'm going to do a portrait today and I know exactly what I'm doing. Or I'm going to paint this landscape. My dad is an artist and he does St. Lucian landscapes. And I'm not in that class. For me, it's just expressing myself at that particular point in time. And do I know what I'm going to put on the canvas? No. At that point in time. So it's really expressing what's inside. And the beauty about abstract art is that it could be anything you want it to be.
Just a follow-up question very quickly. Because you get so nervous and you're never really sure what that end product is going to be like, is there such a thing as hidden art that you have at home that you've not yet, displayed?
Absolutely not. I love to see what I have done.
Okay.
And why? Because I think that someday somebody out there will also enjoy it. When you look at it, it brings on something for you. Because when you first purchase a piece of art, it's because there's something about it that attracted you. And so I would always want that person to look at that piece of art every day, see something different in it, bring out certain expressions. So no hidden art at all.
You mentioned your biggest inspiration. Can you tell us some other artists who would have inspired you along this path?
In all honesty, I try not to look out there. I am very much young in the business. This started in 2020, and I think you've heard this many times, that COVID brought a lot of stuff out of a lot of us that we never thought we had. We're digging in deeper to see what's there, what's the next step, what can I do? I can do things because we thought with COVID, so many things came to a halt.
Yes, we had
said,
time.
No. It started to bring out those hidden treasures and emotions in us. And you find even today persons are doing quite a bit that they never thought they would be doing. And so I try not to go out there, little by little, looking at different pieces of work out there, but I try not to be influenced by them.
Okay.
And eventually I'm hoping to further myself in art, whether it is a class, be a little more into what art is all about. But for now, what I have done already is my own and just me expressing what is inside coming out.
All right, this is a question that I have for artists just about every time we interview them, and it's this. You create a piece, it's displayed. Does it speak the same message to everyone who looks at it? Is there a certain message that you'd like people to get when they look at it, and does that have to be universal, or does it depend on the viewer?
It's all about you, what you see. I may paint a piece of work, and to me it speaks one thing. And I've had that many times. I had a group of students who visited my home gallery recently, and it was quite impressive to see them describe the paintings. Again, as somebody who has never taken an art class, it is good to see what really, the artist can see, the artist's eye can see. And so, for everybody, it's not the same. I may look at a painting and I may focus on the colors, the boldness. I may look at, to me, it may work on my emotions at that point in time. For somebody else, they're looking for whether it is asymmetrical, whether they are hard lines. Some persons are looking for the fine print. But it speaks to all of us differently, and that's a good thing about abstract art. Including the fact that, you may have a name for a painting.
Yeah.
And somebody else might say, oh, no, I actually thought it was this. And I said, well, I never thought about that. And then you say, well, that's true. So everybody sees it differently, and that's the beauty about abstract art. You can make it anything you want it to be.
Nice.
Listening to you, I feel like it's a medium of communication.
Yes.
Yeah.
So art speaks to you, but also the artist or the viewers speak to the artist as well, and you get that ongoing communication. It's interesting. All right. Well, we're not done with interesting conversation just yet. We'll be back with Adele Strong with more right after this. Stay tuned.
No cash, no card, no problem. Dad, embrace the freedom. No cash, no card, no problem. Dad, embrace the freedom.
Welcome back to Good Morning SKN as we continue our engaging and inspiring conversation with artist Adele Strong of Inspired Art. So Adele, before the break, you mentioned name of paintings, right? The name of paintings, I should say. So how do you come up with the names? I have an example here. El Pueblo. El Pueblo, the town. And Showers Beyond the Pain.
Showers Beyond the Pain. As I indicated before, when I get to the canvas and start painting, I do not know what's going to come out.
Okay.
And many times it's a case of after I've painted and I step back, I'm able to say, wow, this is what this reminds me of. And so this is how I name my paintings. El Pueblo reminds me of, it's a town.
Yes.
I speak Spanish as well, so
Ooh.
I try to incorporate Spanish into it. And it's like a little town with
Yes.
all the little shanty houses with the different colors on a hill.
Yes.
With a little river passing in front. So it's just on the border of a river. And the colors and the water. So that reminded me of that. And I said, that's El Pueblo.
The town.
Showers beyond the pain. There were so many things at that point in time whilst I was doing it that were coming out. Vibrancy, color, masquerade. Then I could see almost like a shadow on the bottom, on the base. And so that was a reflection of lots of rain. And you're looking from the inside out.
Oh, okay.
But it's celebration. In spite of the rain, there is still hope.
Yeah.
There is still color. There is
I
still
like that.
peace.
I like
There is
that.
still growth.
All right. Which one is this? Which one am I looking at?
Showers.
Beyond.
Okay, so I know the other one was definitely El Pueblo.
Oh,
Wow.
nice.
How long did this take you to do?
Wow.
I would say about 3 hours.
3 hours, really?
Yes. The good thing, when I do my paintings, this one is acrylic. And with acrylic paint, it dries pretty quickly. And so some of the shades that you may see behind could have been a case of, I'm trying to finish this side of the canvas, and this side is still drying, or it has dried. So you get that background shade.
Yeah.
By the time you get back to it, it becomes something else. Compared to an oil painting, where you have the ability to really mix your colors. Stay away from it for a day. Come back because it's still wet. And you can still merge your colors and change it into something else. So the oil paintings take quite a while to dry.
Okay.
And the acrylic, almost instant.
Yeah.
So, if this is what you want to do when you made a mistake, and that's the beauty about abstract.
Yeah.
In your mind, you might think it's a mistake, but then you change it into something else so quickly because it's not perfection in a sense you're looking for.
I like this. This is cute.
And El Pueblo, as you can see, the
This is
colors
the town.
represent the houses. At the bottom, you could see almost, before you get to the actual river or
Yes.
sand area, you see a reflection of the town at the bottom.
Yes.
Now I see it, yes.
Yeah, nice.
I didn't see it before.
Oh, you didn't? Yeah.
Your description is accurate, I can see it now.
Yeah, so the colors, and with your paintings, there's so many different things that you can use. You can use sponges, you can use a shell. There was a painting I did where I used latex gloves.
Nice.
You blow it up as like a balloon and you are able to do different imprints. My favorite one is using my own credit cards as my streamers. So even as someone who is starting in the business, you don't have the financing to be able to purchase because sometimes it could be pretty expensive. I actually wrap my own frames. So I buy the canvas as a rolled canvas, and I'm able to wrap and staple my frames and do my own paintings. So I'm creative, so I love to be able to do things like that.
I can tell.
Indeed. So tell us, what is your favorite painting that you've done thus far?
My favorite painting is a small painting called Sunset Moonrise. It's the sun and the moon together. One half is the sun, the other half is the moon. Just either setting or rising over a mountain ridge.
Ooh.
And then you'd have with the sun, you'd have all those beautiful colors. And with the moon, you'd have the gray sky. And it's my favorite.
Wow.
I would love to see that someday.
All right. I'm just in awe that you're telling me that you're somebody who didn't really have the skill before 2020, and this is what you've been able to do.
Yeah.
Where do you see yourself, perhaps? Okay, this is 2 years later, so let's add another 2 years in 2024. Because if you've gotten this far after 2020, what do you see for inspired art in 2024?
More paintings, a little more clarity in terms of where I want to go with it.
Okay.
Right now, it's a hobby. I look forward to it sometimes every Saturday night to do something. But for me, it's about enjoying what I'm doing, making it fun. Whether I have friends over or I share it with my friends. I have sold several pieces, so I do have a few in North Carolina, New York. There was a friend of mine who wanted to, she's a real estate agent, and the person who purchased the property wanted an original piece. And so she said, why not Adele? And so it was a painting called Black Rocks, actually.
Oh,
so
nice.
So New York, between New York, Atlanta, North Carolina. So it's fun. Who knows? Abstract is anything you want to make it, and so will be my painting career. Whether it is going to be a career, a hobby, or something like that. Just physical. Yes.
Your favorite one?
That is my favorite.
Sweet. And I like the pieces that are in that you set up next to it. They matched very well. Yeah, the accent pieces.
That's my favorite.
I
can see why.
Yeah.
It's one of my first pieces, actually.
Oh, nice. This is sweet.
Abstract is actually one of my favorite categories of art. So, if I can say categories.
Yes.
Okay, I can't say. Thank you. The artist is telling me I'm actually correct, so I take it. Yes, definitely so. All right. So, in our last few moments, Adele, and I can't believe our time is gone so quickly, but in our last few moments, people watching want to know how they can get in contact with you. What do you tell them?
So I can be contacted on my Instagram page, Inspired Art, or I can be contacted at 662-4110. I'll be happy to receive your calls, answer any questions that you may have. Whether it is to have you at my home gallery, maybe somewhere else one day in the future. But you're welcome to contact me again, 662-4110 or Inspired Art, which is on my Instagram page.
And finally, I'm literally stretching
Like it's
this.
finally.
I'm stretching this like the canvas. All right. All right. So, what do you want people to know about the beauty of art before we go? Words of an artist.
Just express yourself. It does not have to be perfect. Abstract art, I think, is the best way to express yourself without thinking, this is wrong, this is right, this is straight, this is not straight. You make it whatever you want it to be. Just express yourself, because if Cy Twombly was able to, whether it was a crayon or a brush that he was able to, he's known for romantic symbolism, but for him to take that and paint and just scribble, it means something. It means something to the viewer, it means something to the artist, and to me, at that time, it was not perfect. I'm thinking, that is art? Yes, it is. Express yourself, be free with it. So don't think of holding back, just let it flow.
Sweet.
You know, I hate to put you on the spot. I'm going to do it. I'm not holding you much longer. Trust me on that. I'm thinking, you can do a piece in about 3 hours. How fascinating would it be if one day we were able to have our logistics set up in such a way that, Adele, you'll be here at the start of a show, and by the end of it, you reveal a piece for us? That would be kind of fascinating, wouldn't it?
He's just spoken into the universe, so it just might come to pass.
Never
It just
know.
might come to
I'm
pass.
looking forward to that.
Yes, indeed.
Adele? Okay, great. You gotta speak it. Okay, I get it. Here we go. Thank you, Adele, so much for stopping by. Definitely
It was a pleasure. Compliments of the season to you.
Thank you. Same to you.
Well for the season and the new year coming up. And thank you again for having me. It was a pleasure.
Oh, pleasure. We look forward to more from Inspired Arts. Thank you. Viewers, stay tuned. Much more after this short break.
Cheers.
An exotic experience.
What will it take to grab the attention of someone with the power to make your dream come true? 7 hopeful entrepreneurs in search of the finances necessary to take their ideas to the next level.
This is their lives, right? This is their business.
4 savvy business owners ready to make a pragmatic investment.
You can't help people if you can't help yourself. First you make the dollar and you give the dollar.
Why you take your business offline?
I really feel that you need to do a little bit more research.
Very knowledgeable. Super knowledgeable.
You have a great idea and a great concept. I think you'd be snapped up by Disney.
If you have a job someplace, it means that if something is not working, you can walk away.
Who will invest?
Let's do this. Let's do this.
Thank you. And who will be sent home with nothing? I am your host, Kevin Hope.
Dreamy Decor specializes in flowers for all events, from birthdays to weddings and any other special occasion. What's a better way to express to the people you love than by providing the finest selection of beautiful flowers and gifts? So when you think of flowers, think of us, Dreamy Decor.
When growing your savings, where you save matters more than you think. Dare to compare and see for yourself why you should start saving and investing at First Federal Credit Union. You don't have to settle for cents. Let your money make sense. Reap a higher return by stashing your cash in a high-yield savings account or term deposit and earn up to 4% interest on your money. At First Federal, we say yes.
No cash, no card, no problem. Dad, embrace the freedom.
I need some veggies for dinner. Let me just check the amount of sodium in this can. Oh no, this is too much. Let me try our next option. They did say it's healthy to consume less salt. This is much better. I am salt smart.
Consuming excess salt can lead to heart attack, high blood pressure, and even stroke, and other health-related conditions such as kidney disease.
Back to Good Morning SKN as we take a look at the launch that we had on December the 2nd? Yes, Sugar Mass Wonderland. There was a parade, and then what proceeded was an opening ceremony for the 2022-2023 carnival season. So take a look with us. See, Jamie just got a wow. It was definitely a wow, 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 wow. And it was a free event, so everybody was there.
There were dogs there.
I didn't say bow wow. Y'all heard me say wow, wow, right? Ambulance style, wow and wow. Listen, it was spectacular. I wish you would have watched so you know we could have. We didn't sing. Oh my gosh.
I'm just saying, Storm Zara, okay, hurricane season's over, but Storm Zara is definitely taking us by storm.
Yes. Listen, everybody, even folks that are overseas that wish they would have booked to come home, they were mentioning it in the comments. And then even the overseas folks were saying they're looking forward to Miss Talented Teen. Could you believe that? Those young people have everybody in the crowd. And don't talk about the old calypso and the persons that would have sang that about like Shaki, like an unexpected. Listen, that's my guy. That is my guy, and he made up a last-minute song. I'm gonna just keep that to myself.
Yeah, not as effective.
Because he said, right?
To yourself. Okay.
They're all in a boat, and then they lost the motor. So the past executive, they're all in a boat. Rowing, but he didn't say rowing.
Okay. I'm gonna ask you for that after, but we got a second
listen, he said.
We got a second
Oh my
second
gosh. Let me tell you, the dance productions, even the ones that dance for the artist that was singing, they were champonious. I have to borrow Mr. Martin's word, champonious. Yes, they were. They were that good. Listen, this opening was thebomb.com. So for all the folks at the Carnival Secretariat, oh my gosh, you guys did a great job. Great job. Jamie, I wish you had watched it so you would have felt the same way that I felt.
No, I'm just looking at that and I
really
want to see
nice.
more, so that's it. Sugar Mass 51, here we come. All right.
And plus, it was a free event. So you see everybody, the mother, the sister, the cousin, the aunt, the uncle, the great cousins, everybody was there. Maybe even Granny, but we didn't see her. Because she was sitting in the VIP section. Very important person.
Let's see. All right. Well, guess what? We've got about 4 minutes left to go. It's time to let you know what's happening. So, after all of that, we're moving to what's happening. The University of the West Indies Alumni Association, St. Kitts and Nevis chapter, is hosting a college to career panel discussion this Wednesday, December 7th. Panelists for the event are scientist LaVisca Prince, technologist Janelle Lake, engineer Colin Brown, artist Kyla Brown, mathematician Kayla Farrell, and entrepreneur Desi Brown. The special speaker for this event is the Honorable Congress Maynard. The event is going to be held at the Poinciana Conference Room at the Clarence Fitzroy Bryant College from 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. this Wednesday.
We should have quite an industrious and illustrious youth population because we didn't get all these privileges. This is why I want to go back to school. We just had to find our own way, didn't we? Didn't we? Kids, take every opportunity you get in this life because they are being presented to you. We continue now. Christmas decorating contest. Celebrate SKN is doing it again, adding some festive cheer to the upcoming holiday season with the 2022 Christmas decorating contest. Entries must be submitted between the 20th and 27th of December. Submit your pictures online at celebrateskn@gmail.com. That's once again, you submit your pictures online at celebrateskn@gmail.com. In-person judging takes place between the 20th to the 30th of December. The top 5 winners will be announced on the 31st of December. So just before we plunge into 2023. Okay, Jamie.
Okay. Agri-Christmas Night Market registration now open. So free registration is now open to all vendors, meat producers, fishers, and agri-processors who would like to secure their spots for the Ministry of Agriculture, Fisheries, Marine Resources, and Cooperatives Agri-Christmas Night Market on Thursday, December 22nd. Registration forms are now available at the Bastille Public Market, the Department of Agriculture, the Great Department of Marine Resources, and the Ministry of Agriculture on the 3rd floor of Government Headquarters. Interested persons are asked to contact the Ministry of Agriculture at 467-1016 for more information. The deadline for registration is Friday, December 16th. And that is all that we have for what's happening. And now it is time for us to say goodbye. But before we do, as typical, we like to thank you for joining us for another edition of GMSKN. It would not have been the same without you. Apologies, of course, going out for announcing that Mr. Mention would be here. Apparently, he asked for... He could not make it today, rather, so he should be here. Let me say that. He should be here on Thursday, if all goes well. And, of course, we're inviting you to tune in daily, where you'll find a little bit of everything for everyone. Get your friends and family to watch, if you can. Yeah, tell them. You've told me already, Cortensa, you no need to point. Remember to follow us on our social media platforms, including Facebook and YouTube at Studio 327 Inc., and on Instagram at Good Morning SKN. And we're inviting you to like, subscribe, follow, and share. And check out our website at studio327inc.com to learn more about GMSKN and Studio 327.
And remember, tomorrow is our 1st year anniversary. Yes. It's the 6th of December last year that GMSKN made its debut. And we're almost a year. Oh my God. I don't want to cry. So tune in tomorrow. You never know what we have in store for you. So leave us a comment and let us know what was your favorite part of today's show. And tomorrow, Tuesday, 1 year. Yay. See you at 8 a.m. when you will start your morning and celebrate our 1st anniversary with us right here at Good Morning SKN. As usual, thank you for watching, guys. Have a great day. And remember, tune in tomorrow. Bye-bye.